Good afternoon, I'm Herman Green with the midday news for this Friday, October 30. If you're watching on our online platform, onespotmedia.com, thanks for joining us. A grim picture is being painted by the Health Ministry with the possible triple threat to the health sector of dengue, COVID-19 and the flu. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says greater focus will have to be placed on personal responsibility to deal with the effects of what will be a more challenging time for his ministry. O'Shane Masters tells us more.
With the recent heavy rains island-wide and more expected this weekend, concern is being raised about the increase in the population of the Aedes aegypti mosquito. Speaking at Thursday's COVID Conversations, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says based on a recent model done by his ministry, trouble is on the horizon if personal measures are not taken. He says it could also hamper the fight against COVID-19 if it is compounded with a flu and dengue outbreak as well.
If we are complacent, in addition to our COVID-19 cases, we could have, I am told by the experts, more than 300 dengue cases and 3 to 5 dengue deaths each week.
Last year, the island recorded 88 dengue-related deaths. That is almost double the confirmed deaths for the disease in 2018. According to Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Karen Webster-Carr, the health sector could be in trouble if there's a similar dengue outbreak this year.
If we should, say, take out the number, look at the number of cases that we had for dengue last year and influenza-like illness and transpose it and put it on to the rest of the year, then the lighter shade is what we would have. And this would be significant challenges on the health system with more admissions and more deaths.
Project manager for the Enhanced Dengue Program, Everton Baker, says efforts have been increased to identify and disturb the breeding sites for the Aedes aegypti mosquitoes.
In fact, we have done 1.9 million visits. And of that 1.9 million visits, we have found 187,000 of those premises to be positive for Aedes, which is about 9.4%.
Mr. Baker is calling for a greater partnership with citizens to help to reduce the breeding sites for the mosquitoes. Meanwhile, Director of Family Health Services Dr. Melody Ennis says with the convergence of all three viruses, it will be difficult to tell them apart because the symptoms are the same. However, she noted that the influenza virus, more commonly known as flu, can be prevented by a vaccine.
It's important to receive this vaccine because during this time, it will, one, shorten the duration of any flu-like illness that you may get. The severity will certainly be lessened. The hospitalization will be decreased.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
And as the country continues its fight against COVID-19, the Health Ministry has listed 2 areas of great concern. Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Karen Webster-Carr elaborated during Thursday's COVID conversation.
When we look at the top 20 communities, and in particular, the communities, the active cases in the last 2 weeks, these are the communities that came out on top. St. James, the Greater Montego Bay area, and the downtown Kingston area are the areas of greatest concern.
In relation to Western parishes, the regional epidemiologist at the Western Regional Health Authority noted that of the number of deaths nationally, 53 are from the western end of the island.
In terms of breakdown by parishes, we have St. James reported most of the cases with 859 cases, with 63% of the total in the region, followed by 216 or 16% of the total, and 11% or 154 cases reported in Trelawney, and 136 or 10% reported in Hanover, parish of Hanover. All those reported between 72 or 75% of those cases have already recovered.
Dr. Webster Carr says while there has been a reduction in the number of cases, it's still not where the ministry is hoping it to be.
In August to September, the number of cases and communities involved was pretty high, and it has decreased somewhat, but not where we were in July at all. And so we are still having significant number of cases in a number of communities.
And Jamaica's death toll from the virus is now at 205. 3 additional deaths were recorded on Thursday. One of the deaths reported was previously under investigation. That is of an 86-year-old Clarendon woman. The other deaths are an 83-year-old woman from St. Catherine and a 41-year-old woman from St. James. The Ministry of Health says 1 death is under investigation. And the country's COVID-19 case count has increased to 9,005, as you're seeing on your screen. 78 new cases were recorded yesterday. Their ages range from 5 to 89. The Health Ministry says 95 patients remain hospitalized. 3 of them are critically ill. The ministry says there are 4,237 active cases island-wide. The National Water Commission is reporting that more than 100 of its systems were impacted by the recent rainfall. NWC President Mark Barnett is calling on customers to exercise patience as the entity moves to restore service to affected customers. Anthony Lugg has that story.
Heavy rainfall from the outer bands of Tropical Storm Zeta pelted sections of the island last week, causing extensive damage to the country's infrastructure. There have been landslides, slippages, and several roadways have collapsed. At a virtual press briefing on Thursday, President of the National Water Commission Mark Barnett said the company was also affected.
Approximately 100 of our water supply systems were affected, and they were affected in various ways. Flooding in some occasions, blockages resulted in low production or no production. And of course, with the type of rains that we have experienced, we can't escape high turbidity reaching our facility.
Mr. Barnett noted that the affected systems were mostly in rural areas, particularly eastern sections of the island.
We continue to work right around the corner in terms of, right around the clock rather, to ensure that we bring those facilities back into operation as quickly as possible. And again, where systems may not have been affected by any of the factors as I outlined earlier, we did in fact experience disruption to some of our power supplies. And again, every winds, continuous rainfall are a recipe for that type of disruption.
He then shifted the focus to the corporate area. Customers have long complained about water restrictions implemented by the NWC. Mr. Barnett had some good news, however, he issued a caution.
We have lifted all restriction, notwithstanding there are occasions there might be some disruption that could occur, whether it be as a result of a number of leaks that we have seen popping up, and these leaks now are on some of our major transmission mains, and therefore not just discrete communities would be affected, but wider areas would have been affected.
The NWC says it's working quickly to restore service to all customers affected by disruptions.
But what really is to bring back those facilities right across the island as quickly as possible, because as you know, it is an expectation of our customers in time of rain. Nobody wants to hear about disruption. Everybody wants to have water in their tap.
Anthony Lugg, TVJ News.
Lawlessness at the transport centers in St. Anne has been affecting operators, commuters, and the municipal corporation. However, the operators at the center in Ocho Rios are blaming the authorities, insisting that the issues are because of the corporation's failures. There are a myriad of issues at the Ocho Rios Transport Center in St. Anne. One stands out for Chairman of the Municipal Corporation, Sidney Stewart, as the harshest form of criminality has affected his workers.
A couple of months ago, we lost one of our workers who was murdered. So it is an indication that that facility is taken over by a lot of thugs.
But the transport operators are blasting the municipal corporation, insisting that the issues are as a result of the neglect of the representatives.
Lack of management for the park. No management in the park. Park no monitor and no management.
They suggest that criminality breeds where there is no order, and so they want a slew of issues addressed immediately, starting with security.
The park now running and no order. When police out there and they talk to them about the park, nobody now come in and say nothing. No transport, you have millions of transport authority out on the front, and none of them now come say nothing. We need the park for sort out.
When rain fall, we finna run now we carry wait and wait up and drive out the park. Nobody now come in here. More passengers out the road more than inside. For they don't have no reinforcement to make the passenger come inside.
They need to fix the drain and get it sweep out and wash out. Over 20 odd years, I don't see nobody wash it out. It stink, man.
Yeah, inside of the gully there's garbage, full of garbage. It takes too long to clean. And if you don't show it, look at the place in here. It's pure bush. They don't cut it, they don't clean it. It's just here, so we're just in a slum.
They say the corporation's focus has only been on fee collection, with no repairs or improvements to show. But Mayor Stewart insists that the corporation is aware of the issues, as it has been assessing transportation across the parish. He told TVJ News of a plan which includes building new transport centers in areas such as Monique.
In terms of the existing ones, I'm sure that in a matter of months we should be able to improve the conditions. Otrius, we'll start with Otrius as a pilot. We are going to improve the conditions, and then we are going to assure the operators that this can only get better if you used it and pay the required sum that the municipality is asking you for, because it's the revenue that we earn that we put back into the facility.
However, he did not give a timeline for any of the issues to be addressed. And we now take a break here on the Midday Package, but stay with us. More news when we return. Welcome back, continuing the news. St. Mary families this afternoon trying to come to terms with the death of their loved one in the Port Maria housing scheme. TVJ News understands that 26-year-old Jahil Abdullah was at home when a group of men entered his property and knocked on his door. When he queried who it was, the men said they were police, after which Jahil opened the door. However, the men then shot him several times, killing him on the spot. His mother, Elizabeth Abdullah, spoke with our news team this morning.
It's like I can't believe. What his character used to be? Well, he was, let me tell you, he's the kind of person, you see, if people threaten him and try to harm him, he will retaliate. But he has never killed anyone. He has never taken anybody's life. You understand?
The Independent Commission of Investigation, INDECOM, is probing the shooting of a man by the police in Brownstown, St. Anne this morning. Details are that around 9:45, two officers attached to the Brownstown police station were responding to calls of a man believed to be of unsound mind attacking persons in the town center. It's reported that when the police approached the man to apprehend him, he attacked them with a knife.
The police would have responded, and on their arrival, they saw Scott armed with a knife. He was spoken to by the police, and he gave an ask to put down the knife. He refused and then attacked the police. The police, in defense of their life, would have fired 2 shots in his direction, one hitting him in the region of his foot.
The man was taken to hospital where he was treated and is now in police custody. Chief Justice Brian Sykes says Jamaica's court system is still on track to be the best in the Caribbean in 3 years and the best in the world in 6 years. Speaking at a media forum yesterday, he said the court's response to the coronavirus pandemic will test its resilience. Now, Justice Sykes says there are some court processes that still need to be improved, like transcript production. The Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, is appealing to citizens to remove for sale and wrecked vehicles from sidewalks across the municipality. The corporation says it has issued hundreds of notices to residents and garage operators. However, there has been little to no compliance.
If you do not move them, we will move them for you.
A warning from the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Police to residents and garage operators in the corporate area who refuse to remove wrecked, abandoned, or for sale vehicles from sidewalks. As part of its enforcement drive, for the past 6 weeks, the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, has been conducting an operation seizing and impounding vehicles that are permanently parked on sidewalks. The municipal police say the corporation has served hundreds of notices on residents and garage operators to remove the vehicles. However, there has been no compliance.
Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation has served notices on these complaints. However, the perpetrators or persons who conduct these activities had not complied, so therefore the municipality has to act and use a last resort of seizing and impounding these vehicles.
So far, the corporation has seized approximately 300 vehicles, including trucks. Among them are also stolen vehicles.
Since we have conducted this operation, we would have also found out that vehicles that we would have seen on the roadside abandoned are stolen motor vehicles. We, alongside the Jamaica Constabulary Force, who assist us in this operation, would have made arrests, take persons in custody, and they are dealing with it according to the aspect of the law.
Municipal Police Commandant Dwayne Anderson says the vehicles pose a threat to pedestrians, other motorists, and even contributes to flooding.
Impaired persons that traverse on our streets are highly inconvenient because when vehicles are parked for sales on the car on the sidewalks, they normally impede the impaired persons who have to suffer because of persons who do not comply with the order of the municipal police. When these vehicles are parked for a number of months or years, they accumulate a lot of debris underneath them. These debris are normally that block the drainage system and cause flooding across the municipality.
He's appealing to citizens to comply with the regulations of the KSAMC.
I'm appealing to persons operating illegal garages on roadside, persons parking vehicle for sale on roadways or public thoroughfare and direct vehicles. Please, I'm appealing to you to comply with the orders and the notices that we would have issued.
Residents of 2 central parishes are being told to expect delays in their garbage collection service. That's because the inclement weather has significantly hampered operations at some disposal sites. More in this report from Dwayne Anderson.
Executive Director of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, Audley Gordon, visited the Martins Hill dump in Manchester Thursday to assess the state of the facility, in particular its roads, following the flood rains over the weekend. But before he could get to the substantive part of his trip, he was greeted by this: men scavenging on the dump. The presence of unauthorized persons is a worry with the history of fires at dumps. But just as worrying was the fact these persons known as pickers were forging through waste without any protective gear or without any care for their health.
Remember, the coronavirus don't respect nobody. It kills people. It will kill people. So when you have your naked hand in the garbage like that, no blame NSWMA or the government. Get a gloves. You make money out of garbage. Buy one little glove. You hear me? Because all sort of wipes, hand towel, and something coming out of the garbage. And the garbage can live back, the virus can live back up to 10 hours on surfaces.
Now you may notice the garbage at this particular area of the dump has been stored beside tires. Mr. Gordon says this is a temporary measure and it is not a departure from the fire reduction strategy to separate plastics and paper from tires. He says the usual disposal cells at the dump have been cut off by mud, Therefore, the area near the tires is being used as an emergency cell. So once the roads become stable again to accommodate heavy machines, the plastics and paper waste will be removed. Residents of Clarendon and Manchester, in the meantime, are being asked to be patient if they notice delays in their usual garbage collection services. That's because the Martins Hill disposal site that serves both parishes has been seriously impacted by the heavy rains.
You see, the roadway to the main disposal area is totally out of use now because the road is getting soggy. The trucks can't navigate the hill anymore, and to compound matters, there is water running from off the hill coming down and digging. Even though the rain is not falling, the water is still running. So we have to put a little barricade here to stop any vehicle, private truck or otherwise, from going further, because they go up there and they can't climb the hill, and it creates problem for us with the trucks stuck and can't navigate the landfill.
Dwayne Anderson, TVJ News.
The mother of a teenage girl with a rare genetic lung disease is facing the greatest battle of her life. Her daughter's only chance of survival is to receive specialist treatment at the University Hospital of the West Indies. Prince Moore has the details.
15-year-old Sinead Francis has spent all her life battling the human T-cell lymphotropic virus type 1, more commonly known as HTLV1. It's a rare disease which can be passed down genetically from mother to child through breastfeeding or sometimes through blood transfusions. It has no cure, but can be treated. Some persons have been known to carry the virus and show no symptoms. For those who do, the virus can cause lung disease, kidney failure, swelling, and the paralysis of the spinal cord. For Sinead, the disease is not her only problem. Environmental issues such as smoke make matters worse.
When I inhale the smoke, I cough a lot, and I vomit, right? And it causes chest tightness. Sometimes I have to sleep on 2 pillows at night. I can't lie down, I have to sit up and sleep.
Her mother, Nicola Patterson, says her daughter's problem with smoke inhalation comes mostly from fires lit by their neighbors.
My daughter have a chronic lung illness, and it's caused for her to use oxygen, to maintain an oxygen for her to breathe. And the problem that I have some neighbor who constantly lighting fire. And whenever time she inhales the smoke, it causes a problem. I have to bring her back in the hospital for her to get treatment. And it costs a whole lot. It takes a whole lot on me. And I just need...
Ms. Patterson says she has been appealing to her neighbors to stop burning the garbage, but has been met with resistance. She added that she has reached out to the police and the health personnel in the parish, but is yet to see any improvement. Sinead's illness requires her to be supported with oxygen, but according to her mother, the cost has been overwhelming. It's the reason she's asking for help.
The cost for the portable to full is $2,000, and the big one is $6,000. First I usually pay $5,900, and it's raised now, so it costs a whole lot.
Sinead, who aspires to become a teacher, is also finding it difficult to cope with not being able to attend school.
The doctor said I must stay home and do homeschooling, and teacher send work to me and stuff. But sometimes when I see the kids passing, I'm like, Mommy, I wish I could go to school like other kids, right?
Today, the virus infects up to 20 million people around the world and is most popular in Africa, South America, Japan, and Central Australia, which accounts for the most infections in the world. Prince Moore, TVJ News.
And that's it for the midday news, but we'll have more news in the primetime package at 7. Please join us then. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, I'm Herman Green. Good afternoon.